carrying 5 million. So you don't make it clear that it's defensive. Can you just confirm that indeed the money is in respect of, and I'm using Advocate Kakane, unfortunately, as an example because he was here. I don't want to use other people as examples. At least he volunteered himself. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That it's over a period of time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, with the schedules do show that, for instance, in respect of an advocate, it would be briefs over a period of between 2019 and 2021 for 6 matters, 4 opinion-free firms, and information like that. It's not for one single matter. That information is contained in the schedules. Okay.
Right. Okay. So if for example, that a particular advocate started working for you, I don't mean you personally, 2018, that would be over a period of 5 years.
That's correct.
Yes. So again, if we take that to the Sianejo example, that whole thing might end up at an average of 2 million rand or even less per year for the actual firm itself, correct?
Yes, depending on when the firm was appointed.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, yes. The denominator
would average
I accept that. I mean, I accept that. If it's the firm has been there for 2 years, you say divide by 2. If it's 5 years, divide by 5, whatever. I accept that.
That's correct.
Thanks. Yeah. The next problem that your figures fail to show is that of that, and again, I'm using that figure indicatively. Let's say it's 1 million. If it works out at 1 million per year, you don't reflect that of that 1 million, 15%, 150,000 is VAT. In other words, it now goes down to 850. Correct?
Yes, I think we reflect the figures inclusive of that. So anybody would know that it would include that, yes.
No, but that's the problem, Mr. Van Merwe. You and I might know it because we've dealt with lawyers' bills in our lives. But some of the members may never have seen a lawyer's account. They are not lawyers. They're not. They have other professions or other skills. So I'm saying that it's important to break these things down. You don't think it's important to say that if they say Mpofu got 1 million rand, you might want to mention that 15% of that went to SARS. You don't think that's important? In other words, mention specifically. I take your point that everyone should know that it's inclusive, but do you confirm that actually those amounts should be reduced to that extent?
Yes.
Right. So let's say now the so-called earnings are 850, and at least I can speak for some of them, present company included. So then those people would have to pay income tax to the tune of 45% averagely, correct?
I would imagine that they do pay tax. I don't know the percentage yet.
Yeah, I take that point. You might, yeah. Well, speaking for myself, yeah, I can tell you I do. But on a serious note, you then accept that would almost half that amount, correct?
Yeah, again, I would speculate, but it would have it. I can't say how much of the amount, but yes, it would. Are we now talking about take home and earnings? If one is breaking down the invoice into that, obviously,
we're talking
yes,
about income. That's why it's called income tax.
Yes, I can't say what the amounts would be, but I can confirm that these amounts would be subject to, or the persons would be subject to income tax. I can't say what the tax arrangements of the firms are.
No, of course. Yes. No, you can't. I don't expect you to do that or to know what the deductions and all those things are. No, I'm just talking, that's why I said average. Yeah. Let's just say a significant portion, between more than a third, would go to income tax. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Thank you. So that's the point I'm trying to make. I hope I can stop there. I don't even want to go into office expenses, payment of salaries, and all sorts of things. That will take us far. The point I'm making, I hope it is made now, is that it's one thing to put up a slide there and say, advocate so-and-so got 2 million, and put up a slide there for social media purposes. But if you don't then unpack it, to its proper context, so that it's clear that that advocate so might actually be having the same earnings as an administrative person working for parliament or whatever, or even a member of parliament. That it would be, it can be misleading. It can be. I won't put it higher than that. If you just plonk a figure without making all those qualifications. Understood?
Yes, again, as I said, our context was to put it from the perspective of the expenditure side, what was expended by the public protector, and not to reflect on the individuals per se.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Merwe. So that's really the issue. The concern of this committee as you correctly point out, should be what was spent by the public protector and not the individuals, because that may lead to the misleading information that you and I have just agreed could be misleading. I agree with you that the focus is on the spend of the public protector, but I'm just saying that from the other side of the coin, by putting people's names there, then it may be susceptible to these distortions that you and I have just discussed, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, now let's move to no, it's fine. Okay. Okay, I want to ask you to apologize. But if then those distortions have occurred in respect of people and they are hurt by them, tough luck, correct?
No, sir. Every payment, if you pay up put up somebody's earnings, and people have to go and deduct from that from there would be office expenditures. The putting up of the earning in itself is not a distortion. So by saying that the expenditure, putting up the amount that was paid by the public protector is a distortion, is not correct. As I said, that is the amount that was expended. Whether or not it is a true reflection of the amount that the person in the end have in his or her pocket, that was not the intention, because all those factors are not reflected. We are not privy to every person's and every professional's tax arrangements and things like that. So to call it a distortion would not be correct. The only inference is that might not be the amount that the person would be in the end. And that is for the public to know, because of that type of information. Every time when someone's earnings is displayed there are inherent consequences, and there are inherent figures. So to call it expenditure in itself distortion is not correct.
Yeah, I accept that. And as I just wanted to say to you, or rather to test this idea with you, you can agree or disagree. What you're saying is true, but the reality, which everyone knows, including those who put up those names on the screen, is that when it is reported, nobody says, oh, look what Mr. van der Merwe's office has spent. No, it is, look what Mr. Sekakane has received or looted, right? That's known before the thing is put up there. That's what's going to happen. That's the first thing. The second thing is that anybody who thinks that when Mr. Milham started this spiral of disgraceful conduct to what it is now, his interest was not, as he put it, those who quote unquote benefited, but his interest was just how much the public protector spent. That person needs their head to be examined. So the point I'm saying is, it's known that the sensational stuff is not what you are saying. And I take your point that when you give out the figures, you give them from the point of view of what the office has spent. But the impact, the impact that is already known, the prepaid insult on others, is what actually happens in practice, correct?
Yes, I can't confirm to say that it's an insult. I would confirm that.
All right, let's just
consequences, perceptions out there,
yes,
would differ.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Thank you. Now let's get to this issue of Mr. Mkhwebane. Again, you have no personal knowledge of this matter. Mr. Muntus Tole is the one who had more interaction with this issue, correct?
Correct.
Right, and he has already given evidence, but I'll just deal with your take on it. And I'll try and do it summarily because it's as I say, for you, it's not something that's necessarily in your personal knowledge. Let me start by saying you have previously participated in the drafting of speeches for the public protector, correct?
That's correct.
And in doing that, you collaborated with Mr. Opa Sekhalwe, correct?
Yes.
And so that kind of hybrid, and I'm using, mark that word there, the kind of hybrid effort would then involve you with your legal expertise or research expertise, and Mr. Sekhalwe with his communication expertise, correct?
Yes.
And you would come and produce a single product, which the public protector will hopefully read out at some university or another, correct?
Yes.
Fine. So I want to get to the bottom of this, because again, there's a lot of sensationalism that get peddled about by all sorts of ignorami out there on social media, some of them posing as journalists. It's very clear, and I want you to confirm or not confirm. Oh, by the way, on that, can you confirm there was some other report yesterday about the number of reports that were overturned? And I think, like Ms. Bauer, I made an incorrect number, 14 instead of 17. Can you confirm that as at February this year, there were 17 reports that had been overturned?
Over which period, Chair?
To date, to that date, or up to 17. You remember there's that famous pie chart that your office gives out of the figures. 50,000 have been given, and so on and so on. And then in that pie chart, there are 17 reports that had been overturned at that point. Do you remember that? Otherwise, you can confirm it. If you've got it on hand, you can just confirm it for the committee.
Yeah. I did get some leeway to take Advocate van der Merwe to that yesterday, and I did it with reference to the figures on annexure NVM 14, if that's helpful for you, Advocate Mpofu.
Sorry,
I didn't NVM 14.
No, I'm talking about a different. I don't think it's part of our bundle. I'm talking about the report as at end of February 2022. 2022, yes.
No, I've got a different figure from what we presented.
Not the one on the. I know what Advocate Bauer is talking about. I think that's what actually caused the confusion. I'm saying as at February. If you don't have the figure with you now, you can give it to us later. But I'm telling you as a matter of fact that as at end of February, the figure was 17 reports that had been overturned. And either you or us will supply that to the chair in due course. Let's not waste time on it. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, I've got the pie chart, but it's not going to help the chair because I've got it here. So I think it will be posted, Chair. Let me just summarize it. It's public protector in numbers, October 2016 to February 2022, if you've ever seen such a thing. The total caseload, 60,962. Total finalized, 58,964. Total public education activities, 2,372. Total investigation reports, 412. Back-to-back clean audits, 2 at that stage, since 3 now. Reports successfully defended, 9, and reports reviewed and set aside by the courts.
Let's take your first recommendation because you're leaving us out of that.
No. I'm going to ask him. I promise you, Chair, I'll send it. There's only one more. Reports reviewed and set aside by the court, 17. That's the one I'm talking about. Either have you ever seen such a thing? If you haven't, then we'll send it to the chair. Either way, we'll send it to the chair. But the question is, have you ever seen it?
The chart, yes, I do.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Then it makes everybody's life easier, but we'll still send it, Chair. All right. Now, so I was saying that the Chair, I've lost my train of thought now. That those statistics, okay, the point I was making is that, and I just want to reconcile what I was saying with Advocate Bauer's attempt to correct me. That does not detract from the statistics that were shown by Advocate Bauer, insofar as there may be the latest figures, maybe as of yesterday or whenever it is. You understand the distinction between where I'm saying as at February 2022 and as of maybe yesterday? Or whenever you did your, yes, thank you. Okay, good. Right. So, and once again, because this must cut both ways, just as the public protector doesn't want to claim responsibility for everything, she also doesn't want to claim the benefit for everything. So again, the issues of clean audit, for example, that is the effort of everyone, including people like you, correct?
That's correct.
Right. Now, you are aware, or you are not, that one of the, and I'm linking this to the Mazzoni motion to the extent that it is relevant to what you say. You're aware that indeed, one of the things that the current public protector inherited or found there was irregular expenditure in respect of the legal department.
I'm not aware of, I can't confirm that yet. That,
okay.
If it was so, I haven't checked the audit.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. You were not in the legal department then. But would you be surprised that there was irregular expenditure in the legal department previously, which obviously Advocate Mkhwebane has now eradicated, hence the 3 clean audits? Okay, put it this way. You'd accept that if there were no clean audits before, those would have been spread around in different departments, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So the question I'm asking you is that, are you aware that one of those departments was the legal department? If you are aware, you are. If you're not, you're not. Then we will present it when the public protector testifies. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware.
Okay, good. All right, so anyway, we'll present it when she testifies. So on the contrary, we will show that what she has done in respect of legal expenditure is to clean up the irregular expenditure that she found there, while others wanted to be impeached for, I don't know, for it. But that's fine. If you're not aware, we'll deal with it at that stage. Sorry, Chair. Excuse me, Chair. And Honorable Hendricks, I think, when we started here on day 1, said something very profound, which was, yes, we know the public protector was the captain of the ship, but why are we not told about the deficiencies of those upon whom she put trust to do the various jobs, whether they are investigators or executives or whatever. So I'm sure you'd accept, as she does, that just as the benefits of the clean audits and all the achievements must be shared, similarly, the deficiencies should also be shared, particularly by those who are responsible for them, correct?
Are we talking about the audit still, Chair?
No. We're just talking about any weaknesses that might be pointed in her direction, which in actual fact are other people's responsibilities.
Yeah,
General,
that's
including the audits, everything that might be negative. Let's assume there was a qualified audit instead of a clean audit. I'm saying if that was the case, that would also have to be shared around by those responsible thereof, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And
Chair, you were still referring to the audit in that context. Can you repeat the original question?
okay. I was saying, yeah, no, thanks, Mr. Palmer. We mustn't say yes for to things that you haven't heard properly. That's a good idea. Now, I was saying, just as the public protector says that the glory must be shared, where there are weaknesses, it should also be shared by those who are responsible for those weaknesses. It's just a general statement. Agreed?
Yes, it's a very, well, with a qualification, to the extent there are different levels of responsibility in an organization like us. And just like I am responsible for my unit and the performance of the unit and output of the unit, if I make mistakes, and we are all accountable in terms of a structure. So in terms of how deep that level of accountability and to what extent the public protector as the executive authority would have to take account and what level people would have to take account. Obviously, there is a difference between contribution, and I know what you, at the start of these proceedings, distinguish between responsibility and accountability. And people are responsible for the outputs in their different levels, and then there is accountability by virtue of positions. So I can just confirm that people would, in terms of their responsibilities and their functions, be responsible. And then in terms of positions, the various office bearers of the office would be accountable for the performance of the functions of their offices.
Yes. No, that's fair enough. And for example, in the area that we're dealing with now, you and I have agreed that the accountability for the payment and authorization of legal fees